Welcome back to FFB, amigos. And I'm back after a little bit of a break. I had to miss the Arsenal game and I couldn't make the post match video for you guys. I was out through some personal reasons. And then we had the international break, which is actually quite a break to get a little bit of rest from these videos. And I see a lot of the other creators, they have to maintain the channel. I know they're more advanced than me and they're making videos, but some of them are just about nonsense. So I like to accrue some information before I get to you guys. And you're going to be wondering, why is the Lewis wearing the blue tinted glasses today? We're not even playing, or are we? The Chelsea women. Chelsea, this is going to feel so weird coming out of my mouth. Chelsea, done something inappropriate. Chelsea are into the Champions League semi-final. You do us proud, Chelsea ladies. I really call on everybody to start supporting the Chelsea ladies team, to follow them. I've told you the story about when I've been lucky enough to travel to England to watch the games. They're a great team. They had probably the best coach in history before, showed ambition, and now they have one of the best coaches in the world with Von Pastor, a French legend of the game, both as a player and as a coach. They're getting the results. They are in the semifinal. And I've said that when you go to London, it's really cool to watch them because Chelsea hadn't had some decent Champions League opportunities. And I was able to go watch them in their Champions League and watch them win games and watch them beat teams, things that I've missed Chelsea doing for a very long time. And not only watch them, but the tickets are even more affordable. And I was so happy to see the stadium full. So good on with the fans. There was a lot of cheering. It was great. Great, ladies. And I want to play something. I want to play a video. I declare myself a huge fan. And YRK, Jehana Ritin Kandrin, Yo Elskadei. Yo Elskadei. If you know what that means, you have to subscribe to my channel. In any case, I want you to see what she said in the post-match interview and gave me those Chelsea vibes to understanding the Chelsea DNA. Let's see if we can play that.
Yeah, we played with the intensity we want to play. We were Chelsea today. We showed from the beginning of the game that we won our duels. We are, yeah, we're brutalist. Like when we go to attack, we really want to go with a lot of speed. And I think, yeah, I mean from every from the goalkeeper to the forward, we really wanted to win today. And I mean the mentality, it's all about.
See, that's what I'm talking about. YRK and the Chelsea ladies. Obviously, Lauren James, Baltimore scoring. Awesome. Now they have to face the big tough Barcelona, which is the Barcelona is the Real Madrid of the ladies game. And I think there's a real chance that they're past them. They can actually bring the Chelsea ladies can bring back the Champions League to Stamford Bridge. And I'm really looking forward to that. So please, everybody, support them, follow, start looking into it. It's a way for us to get some joy in our footballing lives. So the blue tinted glasses are for you, ladies. Now let's get into a little bit. Again, I will talk about the upcoming game against Spurs, but I think we still got a few days. So I'll do the preview maybe in a couple of days. I'll do it over the weekend because the game is late in the week, so it'll give us time. And I want to get some. I want to hear back on what's really going to happen closer to the game with injuries. Talking Jackson and Madueke and waiting for all these guys to come back and see if we'll have a shot. But everybody knows that's a must-win game. So let's talk about some of the players where I can give you some insight because I watch the South American qualifiers. You guys in Europe can watch your European games. I'll tell you what happened. And we're going to talk about Enzo Fernandez. And we're going to talk about, as always, my man, Moisés Caicedo. So Enzo Fernandez, he had a quiet start, I would say, because he had his first game against Uruguay where they managed to run the game that they wanted. A kind of a boring game. I think McAllister was amazing, Paredes as well. They have a very strong midfield, and he plays a little bit. He's deeper lying. Yes, he's kind of an eight with Argentina. He's a little bit deeper lying than what Enzo Maresca is asking him to do, of course, because they face a low block often with Chelsea, and he's got him up there playing as a 10, sometimes really close as a second striker. So there's a difference there. But they dominated the midfield, but it was a good performance against Brazil. Legendary result for Argentina. Vamos, Argentina. Sorry, Brazucas. 4-1 spanking with a man of the match performance from Enzo Fernandez. So very happy to see that. He had an assist and a great goal. And he dominated the game, really. He controlled the game. He was very offensive, very dynamic, very aggressive, played with a lot of freedom, and he did a lot of running, even against Uruguay, which is an aspect that has really changed in his game. I think he's brought up the physical side of his game with Chelsea, and that's been an amazing thing to watch. What do you guys think about Enzo now versus a year ago. I know there's people that I was not an Enzo fan, but I think he's won me over a little bit. I think there's failures in the team around him. We'll have to see how that progresses. On these two players, Enzo Fernández and Moisés Caicedo, I got to remind you guys that don't understand the South American qualifiers. And I think in Europe or in other parts, I think our African brothers understand a little bit more because they go underappreciated as well. We saw recently, who was it that was going to get, Jamie Carragher, that was going to get murdered by Joan Obi Mikel. Please watch that game where he was like underestimating the African League of Nations, or no, sorry, the qualifiers, and basically pretty much the national football in Africa. Their equivalent of the Copa America, but also the qualifiers in general. There's a lot of talent, and beside the talent and the strength and the physical strength that you find in these teams, in the case of South America, Brazil and Argentina live there, and Uruguay, which I think on their day these teams can beat most teams in Europe, if not all, on a given day, especially Argentina and Brazil. Well, maybe not Brazil now, but and you know what I mean. And on top of that, there's the physical challenges, the long flights to get there. So this is a long way of saying it's very demanding for Enzo and Moises Caicedo and anybody who's playing in South America because the flights are long. And dudettes, they'll play like at 4,000 meters. That's like airplanes fly at 4,000 meters when they have to play in Bolivia, or they have to play close to 3,000 in Ecuador, well, they don't play in Bogota, or they go down to Barranquilla in the madness of a heat. And this can happen one after the other, like 4 days later. You can be at 4,000 meters of altitude, then you can be in a murderous heat with long flights in between, and then have to come back with 2 day rest and play another game for Chelsea. So it's really amazing what these boys are doing to go there, and the risk of injury is so high, it's terrifying. But again, I am an Ecuador fan. They are second, pretty much qualified, not mathematically, but they're qualified for the World Cup, even though the Chilean brothers did some snitching and some narking, and Ecuador started with 3 points less. That means that when Ecuador was winning their game, and the game hadn't ended with Argentina and Brazil, they were two. If they hadn't been deducted those points, they were 2 points behind Argentina with only like 4 games to go on the qualifier. So that was amazing. And Moisés Caicedo has a huge role to play in that because it's the same in Chelsea. He's a solid dude, man. The worst game you've seen him play in the last. I mean, when he just started at Chelsea, I know he struggled a little bit, but since then, it's a 7.5, brother. Bam, 7.5 is his worst game. 7.5 up to an 8.9. He doesn't get higher scores or many of the eyes of the fans because he's doing some of that dirty work in the back that people don't like. But in Ecuador, he showed those same skills, that consistency, and also took a couple of shots on goal that I used to see him do this in when he played in Independiente del Valle many years ago when he was a younger player. He has that ability to play a 1-2 and come in the box or take a shot from outside the box. So it's really good to see him do that, and actually had a great opportunity. But I think we're going to see glimpses of that coming up in the near future for him at Chelsea. And like I said, we have a big London derby coming up with Spurs, and that's a must-win game, brothers, sisters, dudes and dudettes, amigos and amigas. We got to win that game because we know what it means. The history of the Battle of the Bridge. It's one of our deepest rivals. And I think going back to the Chelsea DNA, that's one thing this new players need to understand. I think players like Caicedo get it. Players like Fernandez, they have a passion and love for football, worldwide tradition, and fight. And I hope the rest of the team can gather around to that sort of thing to bring back the Chelsea DNA, the Chelsea identity. And that is always destroying these fools at Spurs. So let's make sure that we can do that, and that'll build on some momentum and bring back our pride. So when we have to face the stronger teams in the harder part of the season that's coming up. So look out for that match coming up. Please like, subscribe, so I can continue to make great videos for you. And again, thank you very much for watching. And to all the Chelsea fans and the Chelsea players, come on, you Blues.